Bonjour! Today I will present some more French grammar basics from first chapter Français Interactive that are already used in Bon Voyage. And I wanted to make a note, and it's been brought to my attention. I understand that Bon Voyage it's a textbook which is exclusively in French, so from the get-go they're going to use grammar and vocabulary in context, and they do not have translation of the vocabulary. But this is one of the reasons that I chose to use Bon Voyage side by side with Français Interactive, because Français Interactive is a great online tool to build vocabulary and grammar. Let's go over Français Interactive just one more time so I make sure you understand how to use it. From the home page, and you have the link in your syllabus, you can go, for instance, to any of the index chapters. Now, the index, for instance, I'm going to go to Bonjour, chapter number 1, which is the chapter that we're doing from right now. Each chapter has the information broken down in vocabulary list, phonetics, grammar. You have some video and practice. This section is strictly for practice. For the vocabulary list, on which one of the links you're going, for instance, salutation, it doesn't matter. Then it lists the entire vocabulary list for the whole chapter. And in the interactive version, when you go to the website, you have the audio embedded in the material, so you can listen it as you're saying it, so you can follow and learn the pronunciation and so forth. But you might want to as well open the PDF file, because PDF file has a lot of activities and activities that are not listed and they're not shown in the interactive version. So there you go, I've already opened my PDF file. So chapter number 1, and you have the vocabulary here. This vocabulary is in French and in English. So if you follow the vocabulary and if you learn the vocabulary for each chapter from Français Interactive, which is already a more intensive tool for French language, you will have no problem completing the activities and doing the chapters in Bon Voyage. So I encourage you to use them side by side. The other day I was explaining to you about the noun and gender of the nouns, and you have them presented here. They give you some nouns and descriptives for jobs, for instance. When you want to make your self-introduction, and you might want to say, I'm a doctor, I'm an engineer, etc. So acteur, and the feminine version as well. Actrice, architect. As you can see, it ends in E, which means it's invariable for gender. It can be referring to a male or a female. Chanteur, chanteuse, coiffeur, coiffeuse, dentiste, etc. In the PDF file, obviously you're not going to be able to listen, but if you go back to the interactive version, you're going to be able to listen all this listed vocabulary. Some vocabulary referring to the classroom, very good to know. Also referring to the date, donc le calendrier, les jours de la semaine, the days of the week. Quels sont les jours de la semaine? These are basics. This is very important to learn from the get-go, even if you have them listed or don't have them listed in Bon Voyage, because these are basic vocabulary. I encourage you to learn them. Lundi, mardi, mercredi, jeudi, vendredi, samedi, dimanche, etc. For today, for instance, I wanted to introduce a structure which is il y a plus expression of time, which means some time ago. So it will help me very much if you've already looked into the expressions of time. Aujourd'hui, demain, la semaine prochaine, la semaine dernière. And the way to express the date, c'est le 1er septembre, and the month of the week. So this would have been the basic vocabulary you should know by the end of the week. Okay, also, for learning the conjugation of the verbs, it might take a while until you start feeling comfortable, conjugating a verb. So you might have doubts for, quite some time. So if you want to practice the conjugation of the verb, you can go to verb conjugation reference, and it's going to take you to a list of 251 verbs, the most frequently used verbs in French language. And if you're going to click on the PDF file, for instance, it's going to open, it's going to show you the translation and the conjugation. Let's do that, for instance, for the verb s'appeler, which is the verb, to be called, to be named. I want to conjugate it, for instance. I use that, and you will probably have to use that for your self-introduction. Je m'appelle, my name is, but I have not conjugated so far. So I know that it's a reflexive verb. Voilà, s'appeler. I'm going to go on the PDF file. And it's going to open. Translation to call. Verb type, pronominal verb. You don't know what a pronominal verb is right now, but it's good to know because it helps you with the conjugation. And in the present form is going to be je m'appelle. Well, this specifics here, this characteristic, the apostrophe, je m'appelle, tu, il, se, etc. This is what makes a verb, the mark, the pronominal verb. We've only learned subject, pronoun plus the form of the verb, but the pronominal verb has this pronominal noun, M, T, etc. Donc, je m'appelle Diana. Tu t'appelles Marc. Il s'appelle Georges. Elle s'appelle Amanda. Nous nous appelons, etc. Vous vous appelez, il s'appelle, elle s'appelle. Okay, that's for present tense, and then you have for all the other tenses, but that's not a focus for us right now. It can be any other verb, for instance, voyons, le verbe être, the verb to be, right? Because we've just learned it. Voilà, le verbe être. And you'll have it conjugated. Je suis, tu es, il est, elle est, on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, elles sont. It's going to tell you the verb type, which is major irregulars or auxiliary, alongside with other verbs like être, avoir, aller, faire, ainsi de suite, and so forth and so on. So it is a great tool. Obviously, it's important to learn how to use it and get comfortable. And every time we learn a verb and the conjugation type, then you can do some verb practice. For chapter number 1, the verb practice is obviously going to refer to either the verb in ER or the verb être, right? So you can apply. Let's see what happens. What happens is they come up with some interactive activities that you can actually also check. I wanted to continue a bit more. The basics that I wanted to present are the structures voilà versus the structure il y a. Il y a and voilà. These are two ways of introducing nouns, and their equivalent translation in English would be there is, there are, here is, here are. Il y a plus noun usually indicates the existence of a person or a thing in the context of any particular setting, and it's commonly translated as there is, there are. For example, à Austin, il y a une grande université. There's a big university. Dans cette université, il y a plusieurs animaux qui parlent français. Okay, il y a. Il y a, you don't recognize the structure, maybe where it comes from right now. Just to break it down from a grammatical point of view, is the verb avoir, to have, which is il a, and I is the adverbial pronoun for location. So il y a, there is, there are. But I will do it in today's video. You'll also find other negative forms. Pas is not the only negative form. We have also il n'y a plus, il n'y a jamais. Okay? À Austin, il n'y a jamais de neige. There is never any snow. Il n'y a pas de pingouins. No penguins. This construction is also used as an expression of time. Time ago. And how do I know that? Well, if I want to know the other use or related uses of the structure presented, I'm going to go at the bottom of the page, all the way at the bottom of the page, and it says related. Then I will go to, I see il y a, ago, right? That's interesting. Well, what does it mean? How do I use it? So, expression of time. So, after the structure il y a, we're going to have to add an expression of time, like a week ago. If I remember the vocabulary from the vocabulary list presented in France Interactive Chapter 1, I know that the way we say week is going to be semaine. Semaine. Comment dit-on week en français? How do we say week in French? Comment dit-on? Comment dit-on week en français? On dit, we say, une semaine. Okay? And if I want to say 2 weeks, 3, 5, 6, I'm going to use the number, the cardinal numbers that we've learned, supposedly, or should have, because they're presented in France Interactive, from 1 to 69 during the first week, right? Donc, une semaine, 2 semaines, 3 semaines, 4 semaines, and so forth and so on. So, il y a une semaine, a week ago. Il y a une semaine, okay? A year ago, well, the way I say year is going to be un an, 2 ans, 3 ans, 4 ans, 5 ans, ainsi de suite. So, il y a un an, a year ago. Il y a 2 ans, 2 years ago. Il y a 3 ans, 3 years ago. We can also say, for shorter periods of time, like 10 minutes ago, il y a 10 minutes. Il y a 20 minutes. 20 minutes ago. Il y a 30 minutes. 30 minutes ago. Okay. So the equivalent of this expression, il y a plus the expression of time would be il y a quelque temps, for instance. We can also use it with this. They're giving you some options. We can also use it with these expressions of time, like longtemps, no, a long period of time. Quelque temps, sometime. Okay. Most likely, when you're going to start using the expression il y a plus expressions of time, we're going to have to use the past tense. And we don't know the past tense right now. But, I mean, it's okay. And you can also practice. Bon. Now that was a parenthesis, an addition, something I learned. We wanted to learn related to the construction ilia that we were learning. There is, there are. Now I want to go back because I remember that I still have to refer to voilà and voici. Voilà plus noun and voici plus noun are commonly translated as here is, here are. So it basically also incorporates the idea of distance between the speaker and the object, as well as introducing someone or something. Bon. Par exemple, voici la bibliothèque. Here is the library. Et voilà la célèbre tour. And there is the famous tower. Donc, voici, voilà. What that tells me is that the library is closer to me, from a distance point of view, and a little bit far I can see the tower, so there's a bigger distance between me and the tower. Donc, voici la bibliothèque, voilà la célèbre tour. Voici Joe Bob et Curry, et voilà Edouard qui arrive, okay? And there comes Edward. Et voilà Edouard qui arrive. Now I should be able to practice a little bit more. Let's see. The choice between voici or voilà. There is a party next week. Okay? I know fête, une fête. I know fête, it's feminine because we have the determiner, the indefinite article, une, which is the mark of the feminine. So, fête is a feminine noun, une fête, and la semaine prochaine, I know this structure because it was presented in the vocabulary list, next week. So basically what this means is there is a party next week, or there will be a party next week. We can use present tense for events that are going to happen really soon, as if they were, happening already. Donc, how will I say there is or there will be a party next week? Il y a une fête la semaine prochaine. Just as a remark, voilà is also used as in, an eureka moment. There you go. Like, you got it. Okay. So practice some more, and then you get the chance to check your answers. Don't forget to have your dictionary open at the same time in case you come across vocabulary, unknown vocabulary. On my list here, we have il y a et voilà versus voici. There's another construction. C'est, ce sont, il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont. Okay. So once we finished presenting the construction il y a versus voilà, you can just pause here, try to understand a little bit better, think of some questions you might have, do some practice. As you know, for this is in chapter number 1. This is a construction that already exists in chapter number 1. So if I want to practice a little bit more, I will go to chapter number 1. And I see here the construction. Voilà and il y a. Testez-vous. At the end of the chapter, maybe I want to test my knowledge. Maybe, I'm not feeling very comfortable about the use of voilà in il y a, so you're gonna have a little bit more, you know, practice. They're gonna give you some more exercises. How many students are there in the classroom? Il y a combien d'étudiants? We did not do the structure yet. Combien il y a plus combien de. How many are there? There are 5, etc. Il y a combien de. Bon. From the same structure, now I want to go to a different structure, and this is basically the one that shows in France, in Bon Voyage, and is also a structure that introduces nouns, namely, people and objects. The construction is c'est versus il est, elle est. So you go back to related at the same place where previously I checked the il y a plus expression of time ago, and you also see related to the construction il y a plus noun versus voici, voilà. It's going to be c'est, ce sont, il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont. Well, this construction uses the verb être. You recognize the forms of the verb être. To describe and introduce things or people in French, two common phrases are used. C'est and il est, elle est, with the plural ce sont and ils sont, elles sont. Well, the choice between c'est and il est, elle est is not always very easy, but there are some basic principles which can guide you in your choice. A rule of thumb is that c'est or ce sont are followed by a determined noun. Le, tatou en américain, mes livres. A determined noun means a noun that has a determiner. And we've already learned two determinants, which is the definite and indefinite article. And il est and elle est, as well as ils sont and elles sont, are followed by an adjective. Right? So c'est and ce sont are followed by a determined noun, whereas il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont are followed by an adjective. And they present you the cases and the uses of each of the structure. C'est and ce sont. What can follow after c'est and ce sont? A noun, including a modifying noun. Okay, donc c'est un tatou, c'est un tatou, c'est un américain. Okay, c'est un petit tatou bilingue. So this is the very first time when you introduce an object or a noun, you're gonna introduce it with this structure. C'est mon mari, it's my husband. C'est ma femme, it's my wife, or she's my wife. C'est mon professeur de français, it's my French teacher. And the negative, of course, ce ne sont pas, but I have not presented the negative yet, so I don't want to confuse you too much. After with a proper noun, c'est Tex, it's Tex, c'est Diana, c'est Bob, c'est Michel. With a disjunctive pronoun, or what we call in French a tonic pronoun, un pronom tonique. Allo Tex, c'est moi, it's me, okay? We're gonna make a note of this disjunctive pronoun. With a date or mon anniversaire, c'est le 14 juillet. C'est jeudi prochain. Okay, so plus dates or somewhat, I would say, expressions of time. This is basically the way you're expressing the day. Aujourd'hui, c'est le 9 juillet 2015. Bon. An infinitive as subject. Vivre, c'est parler français. Voilà. Adjective for non-specific reference. Ah, c'est chouette. How cool is it? Or it's cool. C'est incroyable. That's unbelievable, right? Whereas il est, elle est, ils sont, ce sont. Is introduced as following with adjectives alone. Il est arrogant. He is arrogant. Il n'est pas français. He's not French. Il est américain. He's American. Nationality, occupation, religion, used as adjectives in French. Tammy, elle est gentille. She's nice. Tex, il est poète. He's a poet. Trey, il est musicien. He's a musician. Tammy, elle est étudiante. She's a student. Right? So, as you can see, there's quite a difference between the use of c'est, ce sont, and versus il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont. So, il est, elle est, ils sont is going to be used with adjectives alone and with nationality, occupation, religion, I would say descriptives that refer to that person. Okay, remember that il, mass, and il and elle, plural and feminine and singular, refer to a specific person or thing. Ce does not refer to a specific person or thing. It is usually translated that. Il est stupide. He is stupid. C'est stupide. Oh, that's stupid. Okay? Alors, you're gonna have to continue practicing a little bit, just to make sure you got the difference between the use of ce sont, c'est, il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont. Edouard, something something plus nationality. Well, if I would go back to the explanation in this chapter, well, I see that plus nationality is gonna be il est, elle est, ils sont, elles sont. Edouard, it's, masculine, singular, so it's going to be il est français. Tex, he's an armadillo. So, introduction for the first time after using the name, that's going to be what? And it's not an adjective, right? Tex, c'est un tatou. Okay, so I'll go back and it's going to be c'est un tatou. Do not forget to do the enchaînement between the ending T from c'est and the vowel U from the indefinite article. C'est un tatou. Ainsi de suite. Betty, américaine. Fiona, une fourmi. And one last thing before closing this presentation is going to be the disjunctive pronoun. Since it's been already introduced, I don't want to leave it and not address it because you might not understand what it is. So let's have a look. Alors, we've already learned the subject pronoun, but we have other pronouns in French language, just like in English, and one of them is the disjunctive pronoun, which in French is le pronom tonique. And the forms, of course, so I made a presentation that I hope it will help you, so that will show you a little bit the equivalent subject pronoun to that disjunctive pronoun. We're going to be moi, I, me. Well, in French for I is going to be je, but moi, me. Toi, tu. Lui, il. Elle, same form. Soi for the three forms in a third person singular. Il, elle, on. Nous, same form. Vous, same form. Eux, ils. Elle, elle, same form. And how do we use it? Well, after prepositions, as we know, the subject pronoun can never have a preposition in front of it because it's a subject, right? But if we're gonna want to use the pronoun or the preposition, then we're gonna use the pronom tonique, the disjunctive pronoun. Tammy adore Tex. Tammy loves Tex. Elle ne peut pas vivre sans lui. She can't live without him. Okay? So in English, it's basically the same way. We're not going to say without he. It's going to be without him. And this form in French is going to be preposition plus lui. Elle vit pour lui. She lives for him. Pour lui. Elle veut se marier avec lui. She wants to marry him. In French language, to get married requires a preposition. Se marier avec. Basically, if you were to translate it word for word, it would be to marry with, to get married with somebody. Donc, elle veut se marier avec lui. In short answers or exclamations when no verb is expressed. Qui sort avec Tammy? Moi. Okay. So who's dating? Who's going out with? Who's dating Tammy? Me. In negative constructions, ni, ne, que, but we have not learned negative yet, so that's going to be a little difficult. In a compound subject or object, Tex et moi, Tex and I, nous aimons aller en boîte. We like to go out. Okay, donc Tex et moi, Tex and I. Tex et toi, Tex et lui, ils aiment, etc. Tex et elle, ils aiment. Tex et nous, nous aimons. Tex et vous, vous aimez. Tex et eux, Tex and them, ils aiment. Tex et elle, Tex and them feminine, ils aiment, they like to. In simple agreements or disagreements, when no verb is expressed. Me too, moi aussi, not me, pas moi. Me neither, moi non plus, moi non plus. For emphasis, when you want to stress the people who are doing the action. Eux, ils s'amusent, mais vous ne sortez jamais. Those guys, they're having, fun, but you never go out. After c'est et ce sont, c'est moi le plus nul. Okay, so maybe you have to understand that in order to reply with c'est moi le plus nul, the question is probably going to be something, who is the biggest loser, or who is the worst in, let's say, a subject in math. Qui est le plus nul en maths ou en français? C'est moi le plus nul. Okay. And with the expression même, it's going to be yourself. Donc, moi-même, myself. Toi-même, yourself. Lui-même, himself. Elle-même, herself. With on, it doesn't work. Mais nous-mêmes, ourselves. Vous-même, yourselves. Elles-mêmes, themselves. Eux-mêmes, themselves. Okay, donc, moi-même, toi-même, lui-même, elle-même, nous-mêmes, vous-même, eux-mêmes, elles-mêmes. And in comparisons. Donc, he is taller than me, he is smarter than me, il est plus grand que moi. Plus, more, grand, bigger, que, than moi, myself, than me. Okay, so but we're going to see the comparison, um, in other lessons. So we should not get ahead of ourselves. For the time being, try practicing these structures